Hi again, and thanks for joining us. In today's video we're going to be covering twining the rope around the neck, part 3. First I'll start off with a quick demonstration. Starting off with the front spin. One more time. And now the reverse spin. This is variation number 1. Once again. And now variation number 2. One more time. Now let's change the angle. Starting off once again from the front spin. One more time. And now the reverse. Variation number 1. And now, variation number 2. One more time. Alright, so now let's begin to explain these movements. First thing I'll say is that before you begin this movement, make sure you're comfortable with the previous 2 variations of twining the rope around the neck, which we've already covered in previous videos. Once you're comfortable with that, I'll say when you're working on this movement initially, only begin it from the front spin. The timing changes when you're initiating this movement from a front spin to a reverse spin. And we'll talk about that more in just a moment. So to start, when you're spinning this, when you're beginning this spin from the front spin, it's a lot like doing the second variation of this movement, where we start on the front side of the body, we dip in, and then we unwind by bending backwards. The timing is pretty much the same. The only difference is you spin the rope on the back side of the body. So from your front spin with the rope on the back side of your body, you're going to lean backwards when the rope is coming up to 12 o'clock. So you can't start your lean backward when the rope is already at 12 o'clock because of course you'll lean back and the rope won't quite intercept on the side of your neck where you need it to wind. So when it's about here, somewhere between 9 o'clock and 12 o'clock, that's where you want to lean backwards. So start off with your front spin. Gets to about 9 o'clock. That's when you're going to lean backwards and you're going to let it wind around your neck. Now, you unwind by leaning forward when the rope is at 6 o'clock. So when the rope comes down, gets to the 6 o'clock position, it's going to start rising. That's when you want to begin your lean forward. The rope will rise up and it will come around to the front of your body and unwind. So once again, it looks something like this. From the front spin, move the rope to the back side of your body. Let it catch on the left side of your neck. When it gets to about 9 o'clock, then lean backwards, intercept, lean forward to unwind. It's pretty simple. This doesn't take much practice to master. Drill this for, I don't know, 30 minutes to an hour. You should have this down no problem. You should be more than comfortable with this motion. So, as with our previous motions, you can also twine the rope around the neck multiple times to your liking, 2 times, 3 times, depending on how comfortable you are with twining the rope and exchanging the length. It gets a little bit tricky, but it's definitely possible. So just keep that in mind as well. Alright, so now for the reverse spin. So before I go on to demonstrate this, I just want to make a note of something. when you're starting this movement from the front spin, when the rope is about 9 o'clock, between 9 and 12, not quite at 12, but somewhere in this upper window of your body, that's when you want to lean backwards. And you lean forward when the rope, or when the weighted end of your rope dart or your meteor hammer is at 6 o'clock, okay? So when it's about here, that's when you lean backwards. When it's here at the 6 o'clock position behind you, that's when you lean forward, because that's when it begins its ascension. It's going to rise over your head, you lean forward to unwind. So we have the 9 o'clock and 6 o'clock. Those are the timings for this movement from the front spin. When you're doing this from a reverse spin, the timing changes, okay? So even still, you're going to lean backwards when it's in this upper window of your body, when it's above your shoulder, but before it gets to the 12 o'clock position. So between 3 o'clock and 12 o'clock, that's when you want to lean backwards. However, you want to lean forwards when it's at the 12 o'clock position, not when it's at the 6 o'clock. So, when we start off with the reverse spin, we start with the rope behind our body. When it starts to rise, somewhere between our shoulder and 12 o'clock, that's when we lean backwards. And when it gets here, at the 12 o'clock position, that's when you want to lean forward to unwind. So, the first variation looks something like this. Okay, I don't begin moving forward until the head of your rope dart or your meteor hammer is already well above your shoulder. One more time. So you see, I begin leaning forward when the meteor hammer is in this upper quadrant, not when it's in the lower quadrant. So, for this first variation, you see that I do the whole movement within one rotation. So it goes up, I lean back, it goes up again. When it gets to the top of its rotation, that's when I lean forward. Now, you can also prolong this by adding a second rotation into it, and that's the second variation that I previously demonstrated. So once again, from the reverse spin, it's the exact same movement and it's the exact same timing. We just give it an extra turn before we lean forward. And that is twining the rope around the neck, variation 3. So it is a little bit scary to do when you're first starting out, but if you're comfortable with the first variation of twining the rope around the neck, which we covered, and the second variation especially, this will come relatively quickly for you. So keep practicing. Remember, take your time with this. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. There are plenty more variations of twining the rope around the neck, and we'll just keep working through all of them. If you would like to see more tutorials like this, check out my channel, subscribe for more videos. There's tons more to come, and I'm looking forward to working on all of those. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.